also sometimes better to just do one mesh at a time, because you can always go back in Max and then send another mesh to Mudbox and it will just update the file. But I find if you select too many meshes at once, sometimes it causes problems. So let's just select this and then go to send to Mudbox, send as new scene. I could export this again as an OBJ and then import it in Mudbox, but this is just faster. Okay, so export selected. Sorry. Send to Mudbox, send as new scene. So I'm just going to send that, and it might take a minute just to open Mudbox. This will open the program automatically. So it looks like it's not actually working. So and this will happen sometimes. You'll click send to Mudbox and nothing happens. And I find that there's still, when that happens, that means there's still mesh errors. So I know that I didn't do one other step. Go to utilities, reset xform, reset selected. Go back to your modifiers, collapse this. That will reset the transforms on your model. Let's go ahead and attach this to the eyeballs for now, just so we can troubleshoot any other problems. Looks like the normals might be flipped on these eyeballs. Flip them, maybe not. Yeah, they're fine. Okay. And export. Delete the original. Import it back. Okay. And when it imports back, it's now an editable mesh, which is fine. Editable mesh just means you can't do quite as much with it, so I usually like to go back to editable poly. And then let's try sending it again to Mudbox. Didn't work. So yes, this model is very fussy, so let's open Mudbox manually and import it manually. So it'll show some errors, if there are any, on import. So I think that the images here pretty much explain all the problems. We'll just go keep all. Okay, so it worked when we imported it manually, so I find that that is another thing that you can do if you just continually cannot send it over from Max. And this is fine to do it this way. And by default, these problem areas will be highlighted. If you know that these problem areas exist and you don't care, for example, this high valence vertex area in the eyeballs, I know that I want that there. It doesn't matter if they're there. I don't need that highlighted. These other problems, yeah, I think I would want to take care of them before I start sculpting, because if you do start sculpting and there are problems, then it's very hard to get rid of them later on. Or it's not, well, it's not impossible, but it's a lot easier if you just get rid of them first before you start subdividing and sculpting. And if you're okay with it, then just go display and mesh errors, uncheck that, and you won't get that red anymore. but I am curious as to what these errors are and would like to address them. So let's go back into Max. I'm seeing some errors around the ears. Okay, so I see some poor topology here. So let's take care of this. Strange. Oh, this is terrible. Didn't know what I was doing. Wondering if I even want to keep this thing. Anyways, I won't correct all these errors because that would take too long, but let's just do this one and see if that does the trick for that area. Re-export it. Go to Mudbox. Select tools, objects, select the object, hit delete. File, import. Import it again. Keep all. And that took care of that area. So it would just be a matter of going through all these different areas and correcting them. And then to add our subdivisions, I find that right away you want to add all your subdivisions that you're going to possibly be using right away. The reason for that just being is that it just it sort of helps when you're sculpting in every, even in the lower subdivision levels, when the higher ones are already worked out, because you pick up on possible errors, and it sort of helps maintain the volume of your mesh as well. And I know especially with the ZBrush, when you start subdividing things, it actually sort of alters the geometry slightly. It sort of crunches it, and so that's why you would want to do it all divisions at the beginning and then go back and then do the low divisions. You just want to subdivide it all at once and then go back. So let's subdivide it. Okay, so I don't think I would ever go higher than that. And then I can just, so that was Shift D, by the way, and then if I hit page down, I can go back to my low subdivision levels and just work within that, knowing that I already have the higher levels. And as we can see, when we do the high levels right away, we can see, oh, actually, you know what, there's all kinds of things I need to fix here. All these ugly folds that are happening. Yeah, this is just a terribly ugly model. I'm embarrassed to show it, but this is just, for an example. Like, look at this, and those can all be fixed, should be fixed at the beginning before you start sculpting. Thanks so much for listening. For more tutorials on 3D modeling for games, please visit benchung.com.